Hi, welcome to the Retirement Railroad. Name, Eileen, tip of the day. I'm Steve, and today is episode 5 of Building Chicago. All right, part 4. We're gonna finish the Van Buren Street scene. Nothing's ever finished, but besides detail and stuff, it's basically finished. All right, so let's take a look at how I went about the process and what it looks like in its current state. Stay tuned. So this here is the beginning of our seam divider. This is the beginning of our seam divider that will sit. I've already cut it and notched it here and here so that it fits down and locks in place. Right like that. Right, now granted, one bridge goes behind, and there's another bridge that sits in here. Which we can put in place just for demonstration purposes. Right like that. So that's our seam divider. Cut, put in place. We've got to paint it light blue, put some clouds on it before we apply the Prudential building to it. Okay. Now the back side we can take a look at like that. And I have a backdrop scene that'll be an N scale to force a perspective that is off in the distance of industrial area, right? To match this area of Berwyn and Cicero on this side of the seam block. Okay. What I've done now is I've cut a piece of channel, all right, that will be mounted just to the bridge, so that to take the bridge off, I can still do that. Okay. Still a little bit more trimming to do on it. A little bit on each end, maybe a little grinding. What I've got to do is drill out 3 spots for the screws to go down all the way through. They're not going to screw to the channel, they're going to screw to the wood underneath it. So big holes through the channel, smaller pilot holes through the bridge. I have checked my alignment for the locking groove here, utilizing a 30-degree triangle. I've drilled the pilot hole accordingly. Now I'm going to set one screw. Okay, that's one screw set. Now I will set that accordingly and drill the other two pilot holes. Alright, so the channel's in place. Make sure the bridge comes out. Works perfect. Okay. Now it's just a matter of waiting for the backdrop divider to dry so we can check its alignment before we mount the Prudential building flat on this side, the way side, and the end scale industrial backdrop to this side. All right, and then we will also paint the channel accordingly to make it look like a concrete base, so to speak. Okay. To match the street. And then we can add a little scenic elements to that as well. Now that we have the backdrop board constructed, it's notched so that it locks in place here and here. And we've got the channel done down below. This is painted up on both sides. Okay. What we need to do now is add a few clouds, and we need to paint this channel gray, and then we can look at how we're going to do the Prudential building and some other buildings in the area, right, along with what is on the backside. So let's take a look at those now. So the next thing we do is we take this picture and we head on over to Walgreens, and we'll have this picture blown up to a 16 by 20 size. Alright. And that costs typically $16.99. But Walgreens runs specials, and guess what? I got it for $13.99. Alright. After I've done that, the next thing we need to do is glue it on to some black foam board. So I've gone ahead and done that along with cutting it out. Okay, so let's take a look at it sitting in place up against the backboard. So there it is. It's mounted on the foam board, so it's got a little bit of three dimension to it. So it's a backdrop flat. The next thing we want to do is add, in the space just to the left of that building, some of the other buildings. And I found a picture that was just to the left of the Prudential building, showing the Wrigley building and Tribune towers. So let's throw that in there just to get a sense of what it's going to look like. you can see, all right, the Prudential building and the buildings that would be on the other side of the Chicago River, all right, behind it. Now I got to get those glued into place. As I mentioned before, I've got to get this channel down here painted, and then add some clump foliage across this channel as well. All right, to help blend it in with the foliage that's showing there in front of the Prudential building. And there you have it. All right, Van Buren Street substantially finished, and I think it turned out pretty good. Again, it's not prototypical, it's proto-representative. All right, people are familiar with the area, take a look at it and say, oh, okay, I know where that's at. And that's what all I'm trying to achieve. And I work in scenes, not overall layout, okay, like a lot of people do. All right, I work in like a bunch of individual dioramas that are set or connected together with extreme selective compression in between them. All right, and they may not even be sequential to the prototype, so that's okay too. With that, I want to thank you for joining me here at the Retirement Railroad Matinee Modeling Tip of the Day. I'm Steve, and y'all have a great day. Bye now.